So unfortunately, the vast majority of Gran Turismo 7 players will never make it to A+ driver ranking. And the reason why this is unfortunate is not because they're not fast or they're too slow. It's actually not that. It's just because they're not using a system that all of the top A+ drivers use in Gran Turismo 7. Now you can trust me here, I'm an A+ driver and I race right at the top of the daily races. When I'm online in the daily races, I'm racing in the very top split and I use this system. I know it like the back of my hand, and so does every other A+ driver, but until now it's never been explained. So I'm not going to long this out, I'm just going to explain it to you so you are going to shave seconds of your lap times in GT7. So this is what I call the grip phase system, GPS, and has 4 distinct elements: the braking phase, the trailing phase, the coasting phase, and the driving phase. And you've probably never heard those explained like that before, but this is the grip phase system. As the name suggests, it's about having the maximum grip through corners. So I'm going to tell you how this works, and you're surely going to see the things that you're doing wrong. So the first part of the GPS is the braking phase, and this is where, when I do my driver coaching, I see a lot of people making mistakes off the back. So for the braking, you want to be hitting the brakes super hard to 100%, basically as quick as possible. As quick as possible, bang, 100%. That is the first part of the grip phase system. What I see a lot of people doing is braking up very progressively. Now that's great if you're in a road car, you know, if you're on the motorway, you want to not put too much stress on the tyres or the brakes. You don't want to overstress the ABS even a little bit, or the ABS is bulletproof like in GT7, we're going to get onto that. But that's road car driving on the road. In race cars in Gran Turismo 7, you want to be bang on it. Now, if this was Le Mans Ultimate or iRacing or those other PC sims, I would be saying something different because they have different ways of engaging the ABS. But the ABS in Gran Turismo 7 is bulletproof. So we're going to have a look here at Spa. We're going to come into the bus stop and in a Group 3 Genesis car, and you're going to see me get to 100%. There's going to be some feathering probably. Yeah, a little bit of feathering, but you see me go bang to 100%. And I'm going to explain why there is some feathering there. So again, we'll have a look here coming into La Source. Have a look at my brake input just at the bottom left of the car, and you're going to see me go bang to 100%. Here we go, bang, 100%. I'm not being really progressive on the brake. I'm going 100%. Now that means we're going to be using the maximum of the tyre's grip to slow the car down. If you do that, you will be able to brake later, I guarantee it. Now the next part of the grip phase system is trail braking. It's a trail phase. Now to understand trail braking, I'm going to give you a simple analogy here. So imagine your brake pedal or your brake on your controller is actually connected to your steering. And as you turn to steer into the corner, that piece of string pulls and means you need to come off the brake. That is trailing, and this is why I was feathering in that previous bit into the bus stop. Because basically, when you start to turn into the corner, you want to be releasing the brake. Now, there are some mistakes you can do here. And as you release the brake, you're going to release the load in the car. You're going to make more grip available for turning in and hitting your apex. Now, if you do this too quickly, if you release the brake too quickly, you will generally oversteer. You're going to unsettle the car and you'll generally oversteer. If you do it too slowly, so you're basically turning in while you're still on max brake, you're probably going to understeer. You're asking the car to do too much. So you want to find that Goldilocks. That's going to be a little bit different for every car, but the principle is always the same. You can see me here. You get on the brake, and as I get off the brake, I'm turning in, and I'm doing it progressively. You want to be more progressive coming off the brake than you are getting on the brake. You're on the brake like this, and you're coming off progressively, and you're going to see me do that. So the reason I was feathering is because I want to arrive at my turning point at just the right momentum. So what that means is if I think I've actually broken a little bit too early, I'll release the brake just a little bit to roll the car in, and conversely, if I think I've come in a bit too hot, I'll stay on the brakes all the way. I won't do any feathering. So that's a trail braking phase. Now the next phase in the grip phase system is one that basically no one talks about. I don't know why people don't share it more, but it's coasting. Coasting is so important. If there's one thing you take away from this video, please let it be coasting. So this was just a quali session right now you see on screen where I was in these top races at Spa, and have a look here. Just as I hit the curb, I'm coasting. So I'm completely off the brake and I have just a little bit of throttle. What that means is, if you imagine we've hit the brake really hard, So we're braking as late as possible because we're not wasting time getting on the brake. We've then trailed, so we've got the car pointed to the apex by trailing, and now we're kind of around the apex. We want to coast, because when we're off the throttle and off the brake, we are getting maximum rotation on the car. It's the sweet spot for rotation. And a lot of the braking phase is about getting into that sweet spot for rotation, having that coasting. You can see here, I was having some coasting. Again, just coasting it. For the right-hander, just a bit of coasting as well. Coast, coast, coast. You might wonder, well, hang on, why are you coasting? You're not on the brakes, you're not slowing down, and you're not on the throttles, you're not accelerating. But we want to get around the corners, like I said. When you're in a road car and you want to hit the brakes, you're generally coming to like an emergency stop if you're hitting the brakes hard, just to stop. In a race car, we're always trying to carry momentum around the corners. It's corners, we're trying to go as fast as we can around them. So this kind of coasting is so important. And again, when I'm doing coaching, I see so many drivers not coasting. They basically, as soon as they're getting off the brake, they want to get on the throttle because they're worried they're losing too much time. Trust me, it doesn't work like that. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, some of you might have seen my t-shirt, www.getfasteronline. I created an 8-part GT7 beginner masterclass that's not available on YouTube. It's an 8-part series of videos and descriptions and quizzes and stuff in there as well. So if you're finding this helpful, basically it's $9.99. It's going to be, that is like this to the next level, lots more secrets and techniques and things like that. They will make you faster. So that's the trailing phase. What we're going to do now is we're going to get into the drive phase, and this is the one that I think a lot of people forget. They forget about the drive phase, even experienced drivers. Now, I know a lot about the drive phase because my background really is in karting. This channel started as a karting channel. Karts are relatively low powered, so if you're not doing the driving phase, you lose a lot of time, and you can see it. So the driving phase is, after coasting, we're going to get on the power. But because we've got this lock, because we're getting the rotation, when we get on the power, we just need to get and be cognizant and be aware of getting that steering wheel straight. So you could see there on the red dot, as soon as I went around the corner, I got the steering wheel straight there. Now that depends on the type of car. If it's a, an MR car or an FR car, it's going to be slightly different, but the concept is the same. We want to get those wheels nice and straight to maximize acceleration. There's another point here, which is we don't want to spin the car out. This is not something you really have in karting, but in a car like this in GT7, when you dump the throttle, you're going to have a lot of power, and if you've got the lock on, you're going to spin out. So if you're someone that's spinning out a lot on corners and acceleration, you're probably not doing the drive phase. And when you bring it together, this GPS system, you are going to be maximizing your grip through every corner. And I promise you, I am doing this. I know this like the back of my hand. Pretty much every corner. Some corners are a little bit unusual. Some corners you don't need to go to full brake, for example. But the principles are the same. I'm in my braking phase to slow, then I'm trying to trail in to get that rotation, then I'm going to coast, I'm going to get real, that's my real sweet spot of rotation, and then I'm going to do the drive phase, I'm going to drive out of the corner, and I'm going to get that really nice traction. I really hope this has helped you. 2 things you need to do if it has. Hit that subscribe button, and now go check out www.getfasteronline.com for my exclusive, not on YouTube, GT7 beginner masterclass. Let me know any more tips you have in the comments, and if you want to see more of these, and I will see you in the next video.